setting, Dr. Kerner surmised adverse changes at such low temperatures suggests microwaving itself may in fact cause some injury to the milk above and beyond the heating. Some hospitals have banned the use of microwave ovens for the purpose of heating baby foods or formulas of any kind. Since they don't allow the use of microwave ovens for a baby's food, I cannot understand why they continue to use them to feed everyone else in the hospital. For anyone with an ounce of logic, this should raise some serious questions. The first one being, if microwave foods and breast milk suppresses immune activity and may be damaging to a baby, why should other foods be any different? Microwavable packaging. Though the FDA has not developed and implemented specific regulations, they've recognized that chemical components of adhesives, polymers, paper, and paperboard products used in microwave packaging migrate into food. According to the Safe Shopper's Bible, microwaving some packaging may cause it to disintegrate, allowing carcinogens and other uncharacterized chemicals contained in the packaging to enter food. While the migration of chemicals from such packaging into foods is as yet poorly studied, one such chemical, dimethyl terephthalate, has shown evidence of being a carcinogen. Heat-susceptible packaging, in particular, is used for microwaving such products as popcorn, pizza, French fries, fish sticks, and waffles. Slow and steady wins the race. I know there's a lot to take in. Don't feel like you have to make all of the changes I suggest overnight. Choose a few issues to address at a time. Remember, living healthy is a lifestyle. I'd rather you take things slowly and stick to your plan for the long term than to dive in and quit because it was too hard. The good news is that the more positive changes you make in regards to your eating habits, the better you will feel and the more energy you will have to happily continue your quest for optimal health. Case history. The Stack family of Fitter International, clients of Paul Chek and Janet Alexander, Chek practitioner level 4, golf biomechanic, Chek faculty. Background. Tynan Stack, age 6, had experienced significant hip pain and dysfunction for several years prior to seeing Paul. A physiotherapist recommended stretching, a chiropractor suggested regular visits, and the orthopedic surgeon mentioned that surgery might be required. Paul's evaluation revealed that the pain was likely the result of pelvic instability coming from abdominal wall dysfunction due to intestinal inflammation. Hi, Paul. After we left your office, our lives went through a major transformation. We had promised the kids that we would take them out to pizza that night, which we did. After eating, all 4 of us felt horrible, over, full, and grouchy. Knowing what we had just eaten and the effect that it was having on all of us was a big eye-opener. The first thing that I did when we got home was go through our cupboards to see how far gluten had invaded our lives. I pulled out everything that included the grains and flours that I knew contained gluten. The next thing I did was go to our local organic food store. The shop was able to provide me with a list of forbidden foods and a list of additives and fillers that are gluten in disguise. I was astounded at what needed to be removed from our diet. I went to my kitchen for a second purge. Now we have lots of room in our cupboards. I purchased a cookbook, The Gluten-Free Gourmet by Betty Hagman, which has proven to be a godsend. I can duplicate most of the foods that my family usually ate using various gluten-free flours and substitutes. This has been very important to the kids, as rather than say that they can't have a particular food, it has become that they can have it if we make it. So we really become gluten-free within a couple of days of leaving Encinitas. The difference in Tynan was almost immediate. He has always been a very content little soul, but after he was off gluten for only a few days, if you asked him how school was, he would literally gush, "Oh, Mom, it was great." It is so obvious that he feels good. He's extremely cautious about what he eats now, At 6 years old, he realized that he is not able to eat gluten products and lose all interest in a food once you tell him that it contains gluten. We have successfully negotiated both Halloween and Christmas buffets with very little strife. Ty just turns to me and says, "Mom, can you make it at home?" The first month to 6 weeks, we could literally not feed Tynan enough. Lewis and I finally figured out that he was so accustomed to feeling bloated when he had eaten that he thought he was not getting enough. His tummy is now soft even after he eats, and he was not familiar with this feeling. He knew what he thought he should feel like after eating and was trying to eat enough to get that feeling again. He has now become familiar with the fact that he shouldn't feel packed full when he leaves the table, and his eating has stabilized. As far as the pain in his hips goes, Ty is not complaining at all since began eating a gluten-free diet. As a family, we get a lot of questions about why we are eating this way and what differences we have noticed. I had a friend ask, "Why?" And Tynan piped in to say, "You shouldn't eat gluten because then your hips won't hurt." Big testament to how it makes him feel. We eat out far less than we used to. It is much easier for me to know what goes into foods if we have prepared them. In addition, most foods targeted at children are all gluten. Everything is either breaded, pasta, or comes in a bun. The thing that we have found that Tynan has developed a real taste for is sushi. We now store our own bottle of gluten-free soy sauce at the sushi restaurant we frequent. As far as myself, I feel great. I have since discovered that my dad's brother was diagnosed as celiac, and his daughter is celiac to the point that she gets physically ill if she ingests gluten. I read somewhere that if celiac disease is in your genetic makeup, there is a 70% chance that you will be sensitive as well. This certainly seems to be the case with our family. Lewis has also noticed that he feels much better with gluten out of his diet, although he has not been able to give up beer completely, so he is getting some gluten there. Both Lewis and I have noticed that our body shapes have changed. Although weight has not, the program that Janet gave me is really helping me to feel much stronger and I'm more sure of my body. The pain in my hip has also gone away. Whether that is a gluten-free thing again or more of a mechanical issue, I am not sure. Love, Margaret. Chapter 5. You don't have to tie yourself in knots. Almost everybody from office workers to athletes can benefit from stretching. But don't worry, you don't have to be able to tie yourself in knots. People typically migrate toward activities they're good at. If you're flexible, you probably don't mind stretching. But if you aren't flexible, the thought alone is enough to make you avoid any form of flexibility training. People commonly make the mistake of stretching muscles that don't need stretching and not stretching the ones that do need it. If you're stretching correctly and you don't feel tightness, that muscle doesn't need that particular stretch. What is optimal flexibility for you? Watching a well-limbered instructor can be discouraging if you're as stiff as a board. But remember, we're all different. What's right for some may not be right for you. Most people don't need to have the flexibility required for advanced yoga moves. You do. However, need a certain level of flexibility, which many people lack. The stretches at the end of this chapter will help you determine which of your muscles need stretching in order to balance out your body. If you're naturally tight and want to participate in a sport or leisure activity that requires more flexibility than you currently have, becoming more flexible will help you avoid injury. Many people spend most of their day sitting on the job, in the car, at the dinner table, only to spend their evening watching TV, sitting for extended periods of day in and day out. Without adequate stretching and movement will lead to decreased flexibility and muscle imbalances. It won't take long before you lose so much flexibility that bending over to pick up your socks becomes a challenge. Here are two examples in which inadequate flexibility can lead to pain or injury. Tennis. Tennis is what I call a multi-pattern sport, meaning to play it effectively, you must squat, lunge, bend, push, pull, twist, and run. If you're too tight to perform any of these movements at speeds natural to tennis, you're likely to avoid certain shots to protect yourself, or you may get hurt forcing your body to do things it's not currently equipped to do. Tennis players often find themselves moving very quickly into a lunge while bending, reaching and twisting to make a forehand or backhand shot. So, Figure 1A shows a tennis player who has had adequate flexibility while the player in Figure B does not. The red arrows indicate areas in which the player is at a greater risk of injury due to inflexibility. Daily activities. A lack of flexibility can also cause injuries while performing simple household chores, day-to-day activities, or even gardening. A woman bends over to pick up a water bottle with good body mechanics. Lifting incorrectly because of a lack of flexibility. Back injury is a likely result, particularly when the hip and hamstrings are tight relative to the back muscles. Posture and stretching. Most of you were probably told to stand up straight by your parents or teachers. You may wonder what posture has to do with flexibility. Good posture keeps muscles in balance and your body well aligned, allowing optimal efficiency of body systems. Poor posture places abnormal weight on joints and stresses muscles and tendons, often leading to pain. Additionally, poor posture does not adequately support internal organs, circulation is hampered, and an environment more favorable for disease and dysfunction is created. Muscles act as pumps to move fluids through the body. When good posture deteriorates, many of your muscles can't effectively pump fluids. To better appreciate the importance of good posture, muscle function, and fluid flow, think of a pond. If a pond doesn't have a steady source of fresh water coming in and a stream taking water away, it becomes stagnant. With that in mind, look at yourself in the mirror. If your posture is such that you can project a line up from just in front of your ankle bone and have a run midway between your hip, shoulder, and ear, your posture is quite good. If your posture is poor, you'll see increased or decreased curves in the spine. The belly may protrude and the head will often be forward. Poor posture always indicates the need for a stretching program to lengthen short muscles and an exercise program to tighten weak, loose muscles. Poor posture and muscle imbalances are a result of misuse. Some of our muscles react to faulty loading by shortening, tightening, and becoming hyperactive. They are called tonic or postural muscles. Other muscles do the opposite. They become longer and weaker when exposed to the same stressors. These are called phasic or mover muscles. The tonic muscles by design have a tendency to be workaholics, while the phasic muscles are naturally lazy. When exposed to stressors that either directly hurt the muscles or cause holding patterns, such as a chronic emotional stressor, the tonic muscles will shorten and tighten, while the phasic muscles in the same area will often lengthen and may weaken. This is why those who experience traumatic events like a car accident, a fall from a bicycle, or a hard tackle in football often end up with chronic muscle and joint problems and may develop poor posture over time. Address imbalances before exercising. To better understand how muscle imbalances affect your body, think of a bicycle wheel. If a bicycle wheel is out of balance and you take the bike out for a ride, chances are the bicycle won't handle well. The stress of riding on a crooked wheel could cause the wheel to fall apart. To get a crooked bicycle wheel to roll straight or true, you must tighten the loose spokes and loosen the tight ones. If you have poor posture or have been injured, the tonic muscles tend to get short and tight, while the phasic muscles tend to lengthen and weaken, pulling you out of balance just like the bicycle wheel. If you expose yourself to the stressors of exercise, you must attempt to lengthen the short tonic muscles and straighten or tighten any longer weak phasic muscles to bring your body back into balance. The last thing you want to turn your attempts to achieve a healthy body through exercise into long-term ailments. Body balancing stretches. To determine which stretches you should complete before beginning your workouts, simply perform each of the stretches. exactly as directed on pages 88 to 95. If you've performed any of the stretches as outlined and the muscles do not feel tight, that means you do not need to include that stretch in your program. Only include those stretches that give you the feeling that there are tight muscles to be released when doing that particular stretch. Record your results on the stretching checklist on pages 96 to 97. I suggest retesting yourself every 2 to 4 weeks by identifying muscles that have become loose and no longer need stretching, as well as identifying muscles that may have become tight from participating in your exercise program. You know exactly which stretches to keep your body in balance. Stretching muscles that are already loose is like loosening the spokes on a crooked wheel. It will leave the body loose and crooked. Not stretching at all before you exercise leads to your body becoming tight and crooked. You want to stretch the muscles that are tight to avoid either of these situations. Note, many of the stretches below will use a contract-relax method. The 3 basic phases of a contract-relax stretch are: move into initial stretch. You should feel the muscles being stretched, but it should not be uncomfortable. Contract the muscle being stretched. Use either your hand or the floor to provide resistance. Use only a light force when you contract. Relax, moving immediately into the stretch position after you release the contraction. You'll find that you can move farther into the stretch. Performing this process 3 to 5 times per muscle each session is optimal. Neck side flexion. Sit with good posture. Grasp the end of the bench or the edge of a chair and lean away until your shoulder is depressed. Make sure to maintain an erect posture. Use the opposite hand to gently draw your head away from the anchored shoulder. Inhale and gently push your head into your hand for 5 seconds. Exhale and immediately lean further away. While depressing your shoulder, then gently move your head and neck further away from your shoulder. Hold the stretch position for 5 seconds. Neck rotation. Sit with good posture. Rotate your head to one side. Place the opposite hand on your cheek. Inhale and gently rotate your head into your hand while keeping the hand firm. Look in the direction that you are turning. Hold for 5 seconds and exhale as you look behind you and rotate your head into the stretch. Levator scapula. Reach one arm as far down between your shoulder blades as possible. Look as far as you comfortably can to the opposite side. Take a deep breath and hold for 5 seconds as you exhale. Look downward as far as you comfortably can toward your shoulder. Neck extensors. Maintain an upright posture, either sitting or standing, and let your head drop toward your chest. Place one hand on the back of your head and one on your chin. Tuck your chin and gently stretch the back of your neck by drawing your head toward your chest. Take a deep breath and lightly press your head into your hand without letting your head move. After 5 seconds, relax as you exhale and gently move your head toward your chest. Chest, pec major, larger chest muscle. Place your forearm on a Swiss ball. Keep your shoulders parallel to the ground and drop your body toward the floor. When you reach a comfortable stretch, inhale and press the forearm into the ball for 5 seconds. Exhale and move immediately into the stretch. There should be no pain felt in the shoulder joint. Pec minor, smaller muscle beneath the pec major that has a tendency to get tight. Place your shoulder on the ball instead of your forearm. As you drop your upper body downward, allow your shoulder blade to move towards your spine. Inhale and press your shoulder into the ball for 5 seconds. Exhale and lower into a new stretch position. Keep your torso parallel to the floor. Rhomboids, muscle between shoulder blades. Kneel in front of a Swiss ball and place your elbow on the ball. Bring your arm across your body as it rests on the ball. Inhale and press into the ball with your elbow as you attempt to draw your shoulder blade toward your spine. Use your opposite hand to hold the ball still. Hold for 5 seconds and release as you exhale and move farther into the stretch, allowing the shoulder blade to move away from your spine. Use your opposite arm to roll the ball across your body. Scratch stretch. Stand with good posture, holding a towel behind your back as shown in the picture. Use the bottom hand to pull downward until you feel a comfortable stretch. Hold that position with your lower arm. Inhale as you try to pull upward with your top arm against the fixed resistance of the lower arm. Hold that contraction for 5 seconds. Exhale and pull down with the lower arm to further stretch the upper arm. Trunk rotation. Lie on your back with your knees bent and pointing up at the ceiling. Your lower leg should be relaxed. Place your hands on your thigh while keeping the other arm stretched out to help you stabilize. Slowly let your legs roll to that side until you feel a comfortable stretch in your lower back. Inhale and reduce the support from your arms slightly to activate your trunk muscles. Hold for 5 seconds and repeat to the other side. Continue to practice the stretch until you can comfortably place your thighs on the ground or until you are no longer improving your range of motion.